Hi there everyone. Welcome to a very long video that's been in the making. My apologies for not getting this out sooner. The reason being that this took much longer to edit than any of my other videos. So, as you know, I planned a camping trip a few weeks ago to spend one night and one day in the cursed forest of Washington, where 4 hikers disappeared 17 years ago without a trace. The overall plan was to camp one night alone. However, this turned into 2. We hit an extremely unexpected snowstorm that left around 5 inches of snow for miles. This prevented me from leaving the forest after the first day, as my car didn't have snow tires. It's almost like this place didn't want me to leave. Not quite yet. After the first night, the snow really hit hard. I packed up my tent and actually slept in my car for the second night, because there was absolutely no way I was leaving that place. I was snowed in the middle of nowhere. Let me remind you that where I parked wasn't a county road. It was a logging road that goes for miles and miles, hundreds even. 0 phone reception, and because it's not logging season, no one was planning on driving up there anytime soon. So I was completely alone and isolated. I can concur that my findings of this place and what I captured those 2 frightful nights were not caused intentionally. The only words I can use to explain this experience is unexplained. Anyhow, without further ado, let's get right into it. Please drop a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new. This whole experience truly frightened me, to be quite honest. So really quick before we get on day 2, I wanted to quickly recap what happened the first night. Overall, the first and second day, I had about 20 to 25 hours of raw footage to go through. So it may seem short, but a lot of the hike and such was cut, as I won't make you watch the 2.5 hours of raw footage of me walking through the forest. As for the night, I literally got zero sleep. I got up at around 10 because I heard lots of coyotes and wild animals all around me. Then I began to hear voices and scratching around the bushes all around me, as if there were multiple people walking all around my tent. I literally froze for about 45 minutes, just listening in my tent. Then, after I didn't hear anything anymore, I got out to have a look. I began to hear more and more odd sounds, coming from literally everywhere. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. As I walked around, I started to hear more voices coming to me. I stopped dead in my tracks and stood perfectly still. Then I heard what seemed to be a twig or branch behind me snap, and my heart dropped. I thought someone was right behind me. I got up and took off running to my tent. In the process, I accidentally paused my camera and had to start recording again, but that was the least of my worries. After a good while of that, I got to my tent and turned off my light. I was so scared, more scared than I ever had been before in my life. I was thinking that it was just an animal, like a deer or something, but considering that I heard voices, clear as day, I sort of ruled that out. It may not seem scary or outstanding to you, the viewers. However, being all alone in that place, not knowing if there were really people there watching me, it truly was frightening. And if there were, then they knew exactly where I was. There was so much snow on the ground during day 2, it was unbelievable. It didn't take me long to come to the conclusion that I wasn't going anywhere, so I prepared to stay yet another night, as my car was completely snowed in, and the roads were dangerously icy to drive on. I packed up all my things and made my way back to my car. I didn't film much at all, as my camera battery didn't have much left, and I wanted to save it for the night. If I would have known I was staying another night, then I would have brought more batteries and equipment. I actually took a few-hour nap in my car that day, because I got literally no sleep that previous night. The following night, I felt a bit more safer, because I was staying in my car. However, I felt like I was being watched, more than I was when I was in my tent. In that moment, when I heard the hammering sounds coming from literal nowhere, I knew something was very wrong, and I probably should have turned around right then and there, but the stupid part of me very well could have gotten me killed. I knew I saw a figure come out of the trees in that single moment. However, I couldn't confirm it until I looked over the footage and enhanced the single clip. I was completely unaware of this, and if it was an actual person following me in the woods, and not just an animal. After reviewing the footage, I'm currently looking back on the situation and coming to the conclusion that this very well could have ended very badly if this person caught me. What were they doing there? Why were they there? What would they have done if they caught me? All I know is that I will never forget, and I will never set foot in that forest again. I concur that this following footage is authentic, as I'm the one who shot it, and the level of fear that I currently have while editing this video is enough for one to have a panic attack. If you plan on exploring an urban area that can or perhaps is considered dangerous, please do not be stupid. Do not make the mistake that I did and travel alone. The outcome of this could have turned horribly wrong. If you have any questions, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and please share this to anyone who perhaps might have some insight. That is the last time I'm doing something like this alone. I very well could have been the 5th person who went missing in those woods.